Spokane Storytime. So how did we go from becoming the industrial hub of the Inland Empire to the fine arts capital of the Inland Northwest? Check this out. So back in 1904, just after the Great Fire, a guy named Maurice Sellers decided that we needed a new 5-story fireproof building. So he hired an architect named John K. Dow to help him design this building, but John K. Dow also designed a bunch of other buildings in Spokane, such as the Paulson Building, the Bennett Block, the Hutton Building, and the Empire State Building, which, if you didn't know, we had an Empire State Building 20 years before New York did. And so the M. Sellers building was originally a commercial office space for things like insurance firms, dentist office, and doctor's offices. And in 1934, Jensen-Byrd Hardware moved in and they took over and made this their showroom. They were the largest distributor of hardware in the Inland Northwest, but their presence had a huge impact on this little stretch of Riverside here because a lot of their competitors moved in. And so this block got the reputation, if you wanted building or construction supplies, this was the place to go. And they had a huge distribution warehouse over on Main in the area that we now know as the University District. But back then they wanted to focus primarily on wholesaling. So they shut down their showroom and they moved out where this building was used for storage for years and then sat empty for decades. But thankfully, because of a concept called adaptive reuse, think about the steam plant, the flour mill, or the Wonder Building, some amazing visionaries here in Spokane have given this building new life. And that's because it'll be home to the largest art show in the Inland Northwest, and that is known as Terrain. So Terrain started 15 years ago with just 30 artists and a few local bands, and since then has grown into nearly 700 participants. In fact, last year they raised $1.2 million in art sales that went directly back into the pockets of the artists. And last year they actually had over 10,000 attendees. So if you want to get in a little early on Thursday, October 2nd, they have a preview night and you can get a ticket and it's a little quieter and then you can come in and support local and buy some art. And then Friday, October 3rd is the main event, which is completely free. They've got live music, they've got food trucks, they've got live performers. It's actually a really amazing event. I took my mom to this about 8 years ago. And you know, my mom is one of those people who doesn't like downtown very much. She complains about the crime and the parking. I said, Mom, just come to this art show with me. It's gonna be like a party. It's gonna be really fun. So I took her out to Mizuna. We walked to the art show and she had the time of her life. She said it was the most fun she's ever had in Spokane in like 40 years. And it completely changed her perception of downtown. So if you've never been to a Terrain show, I highly recommend you go check it out. And thanks to the concept of adaptive reuse, that's how we went from having the largest hardware store in the region to having the largest art show in the region. And now you know.